pleasure to introduce and welcome Paul Pezzella, who's a 2021 Tsongas Awardee. Paul is a longtime friend of mine, and back in 2002, when we were working on or developing a Massachusetts State Historic Tax Credit, we developed legislation, and then we had to decide, well, what are we going to do next? And I reached out to Paul Pezzella, who was a legislative lobbyist here on Beacon Hill, and someone who was well respected, and asked if he would work with Preservation Massachusetts and with a number of the preservationists and developers who cared enough about this. And we knew we couldn't do it alone. So as a result of that, we engaged Paul, and he's the kind of guy who, when he takes something on, he takes something on. We got the legislation passed, and 21 years later, we have probably the third best state historic tax credit in Massachusetts. And so much of that needs to be attributed to the hard work of our friend Paul Pezzella.
I'm truly honored and humbled to receive the Tsongas Award. Having known Paul Tsongas personally, he was a remarkable public servant. So it's quite an honor to receive this award in his name. And also having attended numerous Preservation Mass dinners in the past, I know I follow in the footsteps of many remarkable recipients. So in 2003 or 2002, when Jim called me and asked that if I wanted to be involved pursuing an idea, I didn't know what to expect. But I did know on a personal note that from that period to now, I would be extending my friendship with Jim for over 40 remarkable years. And for that, I'm truly blessed. So in 2004, we began advocating for this historic tax credit. And much to the surprise of many people, we were successful in establishing the first Mass Historic Tax Credit, funded at a ceiling of $10 million for 5 years. And over this time, because of the amazing result of the historic tax credit, it has been extended repeatedly over a number of 5-year periods, with now a ceiling of $55 million. This tax credit has produced countless units of new housing, saved numerous cultural institutions, and has preserved some beautiful historic structures from our past. But I do remember a concept, if not a book, called It Takes a Village, and that this accomplishment, although I'm on it tonight, is not mine alone. In the early years, Albert Rex, Larry Curtis, of course Jim and Aaron, their support throughout it. Again, the developers, the architects, the contractors, the subcontractors who invested millions of dollars in economic development throughout the Commonwealth. Secretary of State Bill Galvin, who manages this program with transparency and who attempts to allocate awards where the demand is so much far greater than the supply. And of course, consecutive legislatures and 3 governors, Governor Romney, Governor Patrick, and Governor Baker, who enacted and helped grow this program. And of course, as I said, the continuous support from Jim, from Aaron, and from the Board of Directors, from PM, for all the years of support. Finally, I wanted to say good programs and good public policy don't survive unless they provide public worth. And the Mass Historic Tax Credit has just done that. However, this program can disappear. As a matter of fact, as we meet here, we are now debating whether, in fact, the legislature is debating whether, in fact, this program should be extended for an additional 5 years. So the program is fragile in spite of its success. But I would advise you all to expose this program to those elected officials who can witness your success, to highlight your success, and by involving those very elected officials who fund and manage this program. So in summary, again, want to thank you for this recognition, to thank you for 20 years of participating in a great success story, and to remind you that if you see a turtle on a fence, it didn't get there alone. Thank you.